Nō reira, kia koto katoa nei rāna mihi. He mihi kau atu ki tēnei tō tātou kaupapa o te Rongo-ā. Nei rāna mihi ki tēnei he taonga tuku iho ki a mātou. Ka tuake au ki rungi i tēnei tō tātou maunga, a kapakapa nui. I stand here on the ridges of Kapakapa Nui, our mountain here at the back of Waikanae. E rere ana te wai nei, mai i tēnei waikoro pupu o Waikanae, tai atu ki te pātaka kai nei, tēnei te mihi atu ki te wai. And here we have the beautiful flowing waters that come from the top of that mountain down to the gathering place where our ancestors collected food for our people. E tūtū ana tēnei ki te karangātu ki te rau o te rangi, ki tō tātou motu tapu o Kapiti, anei tō tātou kāinga. And so I call at the river mouth of the Waikanae to this, our beautiful, beautiful moana, te rau o te rangi. She carries the stories of our people over to that beautiful motu of ours, that island of ours, Kapiti, that has many, many stories handed down to our tupuna. And we stand just like that pāharakeke, this flax bush, as a collective of iwi who travelled to this area to find a new way to live. Nei rā ngā mihi ki tēnei tō tātou pāharakeke. And so, we start this kōrero today honouring these places and these spaces which actually tell us how to be, how to share this taonga tuku iho, this precious, precious gift that's been handed down to us over time. And as we stand here on the shores of Kapiti, I'm reminded of all the people that have shaped and moulded me. Koina te au, that is the very many currents that have come through my life and influenced me. My mind goes back to a time where I really kind of got a big girl undies job working for my iwi, and it was the first time that I'd actually returned home to Ngāti Raukawa. In this role, my job was to start up and establish a new team of people. It was a big deal for our iwi. It was governed by the 21 hapu of Ngāti Raukawa. No mean feat when you've got all of those aunties and uncles with their eyes on you. I remember one of the first weeks of working for our people, this little manu used to come and kind of chirp around my window. It was a piwaiwaka. He'd come and he'd flitter around. And one day my administrator opened up the French doors, and well, this curious little bird flew his way into my office. One of my aunties, very superstitious, kind of went, eek! Not a good tohu, not a good sign, and she took off. I didn't feel that way. I felt quite calm. And I just said to this manu, me haere koe, you need to go now. And so this bird went. I had a little bit of time to reflect, and I thought, what does this sign mean? What does this tohu mean for me? And at that time, I was still considering all of those other supernatural realms by which my tupuna used to traverse. But I knew there was a lady that lived across the road from our work who had what we call gifts. She was a matakite, a waisia, someone who communicated with the dead. And so I thought, I'm going to go and talk to her about this tohu. I need to go and have this conversation with her. And so I went across the road, knocked on her back door. She opens the door and she goes, I've been waiting for you. And I went, eek. Now I wanted to do an exit stage left. She says, come with me. And she opened what was known as the shed. And we sat down. It was a beautiful space. And she started to have conversations with me. And so what happened from that moment on was that she took me under her wing, as many people did. And she started to groom me. And the only thing about this kind of grooming is she was grooming me to stand like this before my own ancestors, my own tupuna, so that I could carry on this legacy of theirs. But I want to share the story she gave me because I think it would resonate with you all. I think it talks to your story. I think it's something from our world that is this gift for our collective world that we're creating. And she said this to me. She said, actually, before you were conceived, you had a strategic ancestral conversation with your ancestors. You decided what it was that you were going to fulfill in this lifetime. You had a conversation with them about te pūtake, your purpose. And within you, before you took the journey through your father's sacred seed and your mother's birthing waters, you made this decision to carry out this particular purpose. And so what they did was they planted within us to take this journey everything we were going to need to fulfill our purpose in life. When she told me this, I kind of went, no excuses now. You know you've already had this conversation with your tupuna. Ko koe te mokopuna a o mātua tupuna. You are that moko puna, the blueprint moko puna of your wellspring, your ancestral wellspring. You are that person, that embodiment of that tupuna to stand inside of that ancestral knowledge forevermore. How powerful is that kind of messaging? You know, how powerful would that kind of messaging be for our tamariki mokopuna, for our children of tomorrow? To be told that they are this gift, this precious gift, mai rano. And so what she did was she reminded me that I have this wānanga inside of me, this ancestral house of learning, that actually by fulfilling my potential and fulfilling that purpose that I'd already agreed to, that I can absolutely ignite the flames within. What I have to do is to be observant of who I am and what I do in life, because I am being watched too. Just like this kaitiaki, the ruru. Inside of our sacred school of learning around healing and well-being called Rongo-ā are all the things that our ancestors have left us. They've left us these blueprints. It's called whakapapa. We all have it. And in this whakapapa, they leave us these little clues that we have to work out in our lifetime. They've left us schools of learning. This is the maramataka, something I'm really passionate about. Teaches me how to live every day, how to step out of my house and how to be and how to behave. An ancestral gift handed down, heke iho. This is Rongo-ā too. Here we have, I want to kind of acknowledge, there have been many teachers in my life. And here we have what's called wairākau rongo-ā. It's something that actually requires the fire of mahuika to activate its healing properties. And so when I was taught by Tohunga Te Awhina Riwaka, she not only told us how to make these beautiful, beautiful herbal medicines, she taught us the essence that sits within it. Therein lies the fire. One of the other taonga that comes particularly from our area here are these beautiful taonga puoro. And you may be seeing more and more people reclaiming this and picking up this taonga tuku iho, but it is in fact another gift from one of our atua, Hene Raukatauri. It's a healing gift that will soothe the mind and heal the heart, because that's the properties of her. And when you lay under kohe kohe, you go to the back of Waikanai, kohe kohe, right through Heme Mātenga, you will be intoxicated by her medicine. Put that together with taonga pūro, and they will heal you just by being there. You may know Rongoā to be these kinds of things, healing medicines found in a pottle or in a bottle. They're modern day things, which, yes, if this is your access point to our taonga tuku iho, then we celebrate it with you. We celebrate it with you. And so when you think about this, here's another form of our rongoā, is miri miri me te romi romi. The touching of skin, the actual movement of flow and blood and water in your body. Miri miri was given to our babies while they suckled on the breast, while those mothers incanted upon them, and they were taking in the traditional learning of our people. These are the kind of art forms that are found in our region. They are not one size fits all. They are very specific to our environment. They're very specific to our people. They hold our stories. They hold our traditions. They are continually handed down. And so when you look around, when you go around Kapiti, Wellington, wherever you're travelling on this journey of yours, start to take another look at what it is that's around you. Rongoā is actually made up of this one kupu, rongo. Rongo means to use all of your senses. Imagine how powerful we all would be if we actually harnessed the power of all of our senses in our daily lives. Rongo, from our perspective from Taranaki, also is the atua. She's a goddess of the peaceful arts. She's a goddess of the bringer of peace, balance, and equilibrium. In our practices of rongoā, that's the goal, is to restore, replenish, and bring us back to a place of balance. How powerful is this? And so I'll go back to where I began, on those mountains and in that river and in the sea, and looking at our motutapu Kapiti. Our tūpuna took this journey. They came down to this area utilising this rongoā, our signature tā taramoa. Tā taramoa tells us of the bramble bush that can snare and capture us. All of those distractions that take us away from fulfilling our potential. And so I ask you to remember, to understand that your pūtake is within you. Your medicine is within you. Mā te rongo, koe ka rongo, kia tau mai te rongo mai. Ti hei, Mauri ora.